If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. Ooh, House on the Road subscribers and followers. I was watching a YouTube video of a full-time RVer yesterday. She's a lady that she just crossed the border yesterday, crossed the border into Canada to go to Alaska. And she was explaining that before she crossed the border, she was at the border gate waiting for traffic. Before she crossed the border and had to talk to the border agents, she said that she had to get health certificates for her dog. And in order to get the health certificate, she needed to have an address that she is going to in Alaska. Okay, well, I understand that. Well, thanks for the information. I appreciate that. But she continued on, and this is a direct quote that really just flabbergasted me. I couldn't believe it was being said by a YouTuber who has tens of thousands of subscribers and is regularly viewed by 20,000 people on each one of her videos. And she said, and this is a quote, I wrote it down, "Sometimes being a full-time RVer, you're just going to have to play in a gray area. Our current laws and rules don't fit us. They're not made for us. If you are adamant that you're going to live within the rules, live within the laws, then you're not going to be able to live like this. You're going to have to live in the cage of humanity." I think she just told potentially 20,000 people to be outlaws. And just the other day I made a video, and I took a lot of heat for it, where I said that people are staying in the BLMs a lot longer than the 2 weeks. They were violating the law, and I mean, I took a lot of blowback for that. They really felt like I was out of line exposing them to these rules violators. And now I see why a lot of folks can think that they should be able to violate the rules. This is a direct quote. I'm not making this up. She believes in order to be a full-time RVer, you have to break the laws, be an outlaw. Have been posting questions, daily questions in my Facebook group. And I asked the question, do you think that you're going to have to live outside the law to be a full-time RVer? A lot of people came back and said, no, 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 no. And then there were several people who said that I'm in violation of the law because I do not live permanently at my physical address, which you have to have a physical address to pay taxes, to get your driver's license, to get your license plate. You have to have one. And I asked the lady, I said, can you show me the law that I am in violation of? Because I may have to give up this full-time RVing because maybe this woman who said that I'm going to have to live outside the law in order to be an RVer, maybe she's right. Maybe I do have to live out the law, live outside. Maybe I do need to give up this RV life. And of course, she never got back with me. So I Googled it, and every article that I read said, no, you just need a physical address. You don't have to permanently stay there. And they actually gave two examples that I'm very familiar with. One, if you have a winter home and a summer home in two different states, one of those homes is going to have to be your physical address, your permanent address, so you can have taxes and license and all those legal things. You have to have that. But then you can also stay in your summer home. You never actually have to go back to your winter home. You can stay in the summer home if you choose. There's a second law that applies, that if you're in the military, and I remember this because I was in the military, you can have your permanent address at your home state, which in my case was Missouri, where I paid taxes and voter ID registration and license and all those things. But I lived for 4 years in the state of Washington. That's where I was physically located, but my permanent address. So this law is the law that you're supposed to be abiding by. So no, I'm not in violation of the law. Now, a lot of people say, well, in order to cross to Canada, you have to give a time frame in which you're going to return back to your physical address. Okay, I return to my physical address at least twice a year, and I have to. I have to come back to pay my taxes and update my voter registration and get my license, get my driver's license, all these things I have to do at my physical location. So I come back. So I'm not in violation there either. So this RVer, YouTube RVer, does finally make it to the gate. And she's very upset that the Border Patrol was so hard on her. They asked her the question, what state do you live in? And she gave one state. And then they asked, well, why does your driver's license plate say a different state? Well, she had forgotten that she lived, and she had just recently changed her address to this newer state. Completely innocent, there was nothing wrong with this. But boy, she was really upset. And I think the reason she was upset is because she was trying to fabricate all these falsehoods in her head to be prepared to answer to the border agent. I'll tell you, I've been across the border. It's not hard at all. You just be honest. Be absolutely honest. Don't feel nervous because you know all the answers because it's the truth. And I'll give you an example, a similar example. Once a year, Missouri sends out a paper for you to fill out so you can update your personal property. And you have to have it returned to them by March. That way, in December, they can charge you your personal property tax. Well, I had the piece of paper in my pop-up camper. And I was going to fill it out and send it back to them. Well, when the pop-up camper burned down, the last thing that was on my mind was personal property tax. I forgot about it. And the paper got burned up. So when I got back to Missouri, I got a warning that I was going to have to pay a penalty for not submitting this paper. Man, that's aggravating. So I went down to the office and I said, yeah, I owe a penalty because I didn't pay or return this paper to you in a timely fashion. And she says, oh, yeah, that happens a lot. She says, why didn't you return it? And I explained the story, that I was full-time living, or full-time RVing in a campsite down in Florida. During that time, my camper got burned up, paper got burned up, and quite honestly, I just forgot about it. I had more important things to worry about. And she says, oh, no problem. I'll waive the penalty. Let's get your paperwork updated. What property you own? I told her, well, I don't have the pop-up anymore because they burned it down. She scratched that off, and she said, you still own the truck? And I said, yes, ma'am. She said, okay, have a good day. We'll send you your tax form in December. So I didn't owe anything, and I was completely 100% honest. I didn't lie about a thing. I told her where I was. I told her what happened, and that was the end of that. So why do we have to live outside the law? I mean, could you imagine if I went in there, well, yeah, you know, you didn't send it to me. No, that's not true. Of course it did. I had it paper in my hand. Just be honest. Live within the law, and it's real easy to live within the law. And you can live out here full-time without having to be an outlaw. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Click like if you like the video. And happy travels.